Yeah, this is an urgent five-alarm fire for anyone who cares about democracy and free and fair elections. And the fact that this is not at the top of every newspaper and leading every news outlet tells you everything you need to know about the failures of the legacy media.
What's up, YouTube? Drill Sergeant, and happy Boxing Day to you. Hope everyone had a awesome Christmas if you celebrated, and we'll be celebrating Kwanzaa tomorrow with my family. And this is a story that I have to put out. I told you guys I wasn't really doing much. The only thing that I really have in line is the list of infractions, of criminal infractions made by our orange pile of dead skin cells while he's been in office since January. That's still coming, and it's coming before January 1st. But this, well, I saw it on Brian Tyler Cohen's show, and I know that there is an overlap between my audience and his, but not really big. You guys that I watch my show usually don't watch a lot of the other really big independent guys. You kind of like the knife hand and the cuss words that they don't do. So I appreciate that. But this one was important enough to share with you. So that's what I'll do. Watch this. We'll have a little commentary afterwards, talk about what we need to do and how we need to digest this information. Watch this first.
Watch, Mark, a story has just emerged that's getting virtually no attention, even though the implications are massive as we head toward this next election. Can you explain what Trump's Justice Department just did?
Yeah, this is an urgent five-alarm fire for anyone who cares about democracy and free and fair elections. And the fact that this is not at the top of every newspaper and leading every news outlet tells you everything you need to know about the failures of the legacy media. Donald Trump's Department of Justice has waged war on states over access to the most sensitive voting information they have. This is individualized information about you, your family, your friends, your neighbors, what primaries you voted in, when you haven't voted, whether you have registered as a Democrat or Republican, your full social security numbers, your date of birth, your full address, your history of moving from one county to another or one address to another or from one state to another, whether you have ever had your ballots challenged before, whether they've ever been rejected before, whether you've ever voted by mail, whether you voted early, whether you voted in person, whether you voted overseas. This is a complete 360-degree picture of everything you have ever told any election official about you and who you are and what party you affiliate with and your most sensitive personal identifying information. This Department of Justice is using the tools and the weapons of that department to sue now 21 states and the District of Columbia for this data and information. They want it from all 50 states. We are already seeing capitulation from a number of the worst of the Republican states who are betraying their citizens and turning this data over voluntarily. But these 21 states and the District of Columbia have told the Department of Justice no. And now they're getting sued one by one. But Brian, here's my message to them. Every time you sue one of these states, my law firm and I, we get involved because we defend the voters. And so we are already intervening in 17 of those cases. We're only in 17 because there had only been 18 filed before today. By the time they are done, we will be matching them state for state, including the District of Columbia. So they're not going to get away with this without a fight. But I got to tell everyone, if you're not focused on this story, then you are not focused on what is going to be the dominant story, the dominant threat to free and fair elections in 2026.
And by the way, this is a good opportunity right here. If you're looking to support the people who are actually fighting these battles on the front lines, not just talking, but doing, Mark's team is first and foremost among them. So I'm going to put the link to Democracy Docket, which is the news outlet Mark founded to focus on everything voting and elections, right here on this screen and in the post description of this video. If you want to show some support for Mark and his team, a small step we can all take is just to sign up for his newsletter. It's an excellent resource that I use on a daily.
So I too will keep that up. Yes, do that. democracydocket.com. Here's another one. I said at the end we're going to talk about what we need to do, what we need to know to counteract this, or at least to digest this information. There's another site. This is called Brennan Center for Justice, Brennan. And I'm going to put that up here to show you what you need to know. You see, at least 40 states and Washington, D.C. have been asked for or requested by the DOJ to give this ridiculous amount of information. It's unconstitutional sharing, illegal sharing of private information. That should be run by the states per the Constitution of the United States. So the federal government has no reason and no right to get this information. And when you give it in your state, you give it under the pretense of privacy guaranteed to you by the Constitution. So yes, it's all wrong. And yes, you need to go to the democracy docket, and even further than that, the legal institution that lawyer works for is always the people suing and trying to fight these laws. Another thing from the Brennan Center for Justice. Here are the states that we know so far who've already capitulated: Arkansas, Kansas, Louisiana, whose governor just decided he was going to go to Greenland to annex them because he, being 50th in the country on every measurable statistic isn't bad enough for him. He's got nothing to do there. Anyway, Arkansas, Kansas, Louisiana, Indiana, Mississippi, Tennessee, and Wyoming have either provided their full statewide voter registration lists or indicated that they're going to do so soon. Arkansas, Kansas, Louisiana, Indiana, Mississippi, Tennessee, and Wyoming. If you live there, immediately you need to be writing, calling, faxing, texting, be there, picketing. Because there needs to be a record that they know, that the courts will know later on, who and how many said that they did not want this done. It's already unconstitutional. And if they can make it look like everybody was okay with it, then they can have a case saying that, well, the voters wanted this. It must be shown that they didn't, so that when the repercussions come, you'll be counted among the few or the many who said, nah, we told them specifically not. We didn't want our information shared. Here's the record of it. You've got to do it now. On the other hand, the Justice Department has sued Washington, D.C. and 21 states: California, Colorado, Delaware, Georgia, Hawaii, Illinois, Maine, Maryland, Massachusetts, Michigan, Minnesota, Nevada, New Hampshire, New Mexico, New York, Oregon, Pennsylvania, Rhode Island, Vermont, Washington State, and Wisconsin, into forcing them to provide their full voter registration files. And that includes in those files everything that that lawyer said there. A DHS official told state election officials that DHS had neither received nor requested any voter data from DOJ. But the DOJ, Trump's administration, said that they were sharing the voter registration data it collects with DHS. DHS, we didn't ask for any of this. DOJ, well, we're getting this because we're going to share it with Department of Homeland Security. No. They want to share it with ICE. They want to share it with FEMA. They want to share it with the new IRS agents and anybody else, any other agency or individual who has already shown themselves to be sycophants for the fascist regime, to be collaborators. That's what they're saying. That's the part of the DHS. Because all of those things that I just showed you, all those things that I just said, all those agencies are in some way connected with DHS. And what they're saying is, we need to know who to throw off voter rolls, who to arrest and throw in jail if we can, who to terrorize. And that is all under Department of Homeland Security right now, with the dog killer herself. So this is very important. If you're in one of those states that I said they've already capitulated, you need to act. Get on the record. Say no. Voice record or written record, no. You need to write. If you're in one of the 10 states that sought the clarification, you need to get on the record, no. You need to realize that the lie that one agency is putting against the other can be used against them. Therefore, you need that written record. DOJ says they're doing this. DHS says they didn't ask for it. Write it down. Let them know. That incongruity can be used against them. And in these states, luckily, a few of them, the judges in those states have already proven to be the kind that actually care. Not all of them in the other states, unfortunately. But yeah, you've already won cases with these judges. Get it written down. That's what the resistance needs to know. That's what we need to get on top of. So make sure that this is taken care of before November. Don't wait until then. That's why this was important enough to put out on Boxing Day when I'm not supposed to be working. So please take heed, be advised, use this information wisely, realize that this is a 5-alarm fire for your safety, for your neighbor's safety, as well as the voting right, the right for you to vote. It's that serious, it's that dangerous, and it's that important. The time to fight is now.
Hey, yeah, you. Before you click away to watch someone unbox a tactical toothbrush, let's talk about something real. Political Drain isn't just another content mill. We're a digital front in a very real war. Not with bullets, but with ideas, with action, and with solidarity. We pair urgent news with critical education. And we build community around actual resistance, not the hashtag kind. The kind that moves. But here's the thing. None of this is free. It isn't. Behind every video is time, labor, research, and some weird guy asking if we're going to pay the hosting bill. And yeah, some of that money goes to things we can't necessarily say out loud. If you know, you know. Let's just say our special ops aren't Call of Duty LARPers. They're people making real moves to protect, uplift, and organize. You're not just funding a channel. You're funding a resistance network in a world where capital still calls the shots. Unfortunately, in a system built on artificial scarcity, even mutual aid has a price tag. And if we want to grow, if we want to win, we need your help. We need your help. So if you've got even a few bucks to spare, toss it our way. It's not for ads, it's not for merch drops, but for people making moves in the shadows so others can do it in the light. It's just us and you. So fund the mission, fund the fight, fund the future, because nobody's coming to save us. We save each other. That's how this works. Ground News has very quickly become one of my most prized resources, my go-to even, because I get to find out what stories are not covered by the blind spot feature, which I love, but not just the blind spot feature. Any of the stories that I bring up, I can see what either side is saying about it. I can also see who's paying for those headlines. It tells me who owns the publication, which also lets me know who they're writing it for. Many times, none of that is for us, but understanding the context helps us understand the story. Ground News is absolutely one of, if not the best way to know that you've gotten every side of a story and that there's not enough spin in the world that could have you misinterpret it.